Hey, I want to talk about James Gunn's DCU in today's video and why essentially you should give it a chance because every time I see a new James Gunn project comes out, it's always met with a lot of mixed opinions. So let's get into it. Superman, Peacemaker, Creature Commandos, and the most recent newly released Supergirl. Judging by the amount of projects that is called or the lack thereof, the DCU doesn't exactly have a wide range of, material to go off of. Besides 2 TV shows and 2 movies, there isn't really a lot. Like, the projects is lacking, obviously, because this is something that only started in 2025, with Superman being the major release that kicked off this universe, or at least the first big look at the universe that was on the screen. Technically, it was Creature Commandos and Peacemaker, but since Superman was the first movie and the first theatrical release, that's really what set the DCU off. And Supergirl is kind of continuing it forward because it's a movie, and more people watch movies, I feel, or I think, at least in my head, in my noggin. This is my opinion, this is objective. Yes, this is objective. No, this is subjective. More people watch movies more and connect with movies more than they connect with series, at least from based on what I'm seeing in this DCU. Since Superman was the one that garnered a lot of attention to the DCU, and not so much so Creature Commandos and Peacemaker, even though Peacemaker and Creature Commandos are really good series in their own right, I'm not judging those two. Superman was that theatrical release that did it. And Supergirl going forward is also a theatrical release, even though I heard that one was not as well received as Superman. But the DCU is no stranger to scrutiny, since they've always had to compete with the DCEU, which I feel like puts a lot more pressure on other directors and not just James Gunn. So it is a bit difficult for them to essentially compete, considering the fact that DC is very passionate about their fan base or their medium or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, that's just the point I wanted to make. I wanted to make a point about the lack thereof, or the lack of projects. And yeah, on to my next point. Superpowered aliens in trunks, dimensional imps casually appearing, and quantum unfolding storage areas. Safe to say that the DCU has embraced the much more wacky and fantastical elements of DC, which is a good thing because, in my opinion, comic books should never be something that is so grounded to realism or grounded to reality, because they are meant to be an escape, not something that's meant to remind us of the real world. Sure, they can have elements like emotional and physical turmoil, but it should not be something that's so grounded where I just feel like I'm just reading about another person. Sure, it's cool and all to know that, but I want my comic books to be comic books. I love how Clark Kent, despite working on a reporter's salary, is able to afford something as advanced as hypno glasses, or Lex Luthor and Peacemaker and all these other characters are able to have something such as quantum unfolding storage areas, or Lex Luthor's easily able to replicate a power of the Big Bang to create a pocket dimension to have monkeys type hate comments about Superman. I find that to be really cool. It's wacky and it's goofy, and yeah, I kind of like it because comics are wacky and goofy since their conception. It's only until in recent years comic books started to take themselves really seriously and be so dark and gritty. Like, I feel like in this universe, Wonder Woman might spin around and transform into her, her Wonder Woman outfit. Or the Flash may have a ring, or so much other stuff. Heck, you might even find Batman with a can of shock repellent, or the Bat card. This is a fantastical universe that I think it's cool. Now, obviously, do I think they're gonna go that goofy? Probably not. Maybe they might for gigs, but I think that this universe in itself is so much cooler than the DCEU, and this is coming from somebody that grew up with Zack Snyder's DCEU. Superman Man of Steel is one of the coolest movies I watched as a kid. Henry Cavill had the best portrayal of Superman that I had seen. But after looking at Superman 2025, this movie did objectively more for the universe that it's in. This might be a hot take than Man of Steel ever did. It expanded upon it. It showed us what Superman deals with, his struggles. And sure, it's kind of like a starting point and the first bit of the DCU, the first big part of the DCU. But we move on. It showed major companies. It showed the DCU side. It showed Metropolis side of the DCU. It showed us the established groups, characters like Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, the Green Lantern Corps, and all are not new. These guys are wrong. Meta-humans are not unusual, and that's what I like. I feel like this universe, or DC, is taking advantage of the fact that they have their properties. They didn't need to make origin stories for lesser known characters because guess what? These characters are known. I don't need a origin story on Batman or Superman or Aquaman or Flash. These are well-known DC characters. And I like that they are just implementing them into the universe. Not that we have those characters yet. And James Gunn, if you ever see this video, please just give us a Wonder Woman movie, something. Do not bring another underrated character and give that character a series or movie over Wonder Woman. Please. Okay, the DCU versus the DCEU. Now, both of these universes I do like, even though I like the DCU more. I'm here to make a comparison. Now, let's talk about the structure of both of these universes. Both of these universes have a interesting, to say the least, structure. While the DCEU structure is notorious for being terrible, the DCU structure is, well, good, but it's weird. It's just unusual. I mean, we have projects planned, we have all these characters coming, and we have this universe that is quite expanded upon, but we have projects that are coming after the other that don't exactly line up. Superman was the first movie to release, Supergirl being the second movie, but then the third movie being Clayface. Like, just now, I don't know why they would do Clayface of all characters, considering the fact that Clayface is a Batman villain and not even the most popular Batman villain. Like, a Bane movie would have made more sense. Heck, a Joker movie would have made more sense. But it would still, leave people a little disappointed, considering the fact that this is connected to Gotham City and this is a part of the DCU. This is not an Elseworlds project. This is official DCU, but it's not Batman, which to me is absolutely insane. I think that's kind of like a step forward, but like 5 steps back in order to like do a movie centered in Gotham that is not about Batman. That is terrible. I don't think that's a great idea. You know what I mean? I really don't, because I just feel like the DCU, they're not giving people what they want. Like, you know what I mean? Like, give people what they want. That's why a lot of people fail. You see, well, at least with Marvel, with the MCU, with all its issues, they give us stuff we want. Wolverine with the cowl, Wolverine with the classic suit, X-Men and the Fantastic Four and the Avengers coming together in Doomsday and Secret Wars Go Beyond. That's cool. We get to see that. But it's like with DC, is like they don't give you what you want, cinematic universe wise. Like, I would love to see Batman on screen. And if I'm being honest, I don't know how true, because I've heard like some rumors that the Batman casting has already been done. I feel like they should just merge the verse. Yes, that is something that is a controversial opinion. I don't know what for, but I might make a video on that. I might not. Depends. I think that they should just merge. They already have a great Batman, and people saying that the tones don't match. I mean, that's exactly why Will's Finest makes sense and works so well. It's because these two characters are so very different, yet they work so well together. And that's the thing about the DCU and the DCEU. They both have like the same problem, but it's kind of like at different points. The DCU did everything, the DCEU, my bad, did everything too hurriedly and didn't establish their characters. While the DCU is not really hurrying, it's kind of moving at a snail's pace, which sucks. And when they do release projects, it's not projects about characters that we really want on screen. The characters are good. The DCEU characters were also good, but they left some to be desired, if I'm being honest. I like Superman, but I do feel like he was like the best character in the entirety of the DCEU. But with DCU, I like the characters more. Guy Gardner is great. Superman is also great. Mr. Terrific is cool. I loved Lex Luthor. Peacemaker in himself is also a really good character. beyond the characters, in my opinion, are better. The costumes, that's a debate for another time, but I personally like the DCU costumes because they feel more vibrant and colorful and a little more closer to the comic books, with there obviously being stories that are unique to the DCU. But I really like this universe thus far, and I want it to continue. And I'm sorry about the delay in videos, well, the gap in between. I'll try to update you guys more and try to get them out to you more consistently. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys until the next time.